This is Boldfaces, and welcome to the second part of the Federal Inland Revenue Service FIRS e-solution at your convenience, ease of paying taxes serialization. We are reviewing the ongoing digital revolution within the FIRS, which has reduced peculiar tax payment challenges in previous years, which has also improved the ease of doing business and fulfilling your tax obligation to our nation. Today, our focus is still on the FIRS Integrated Online Tax Administrative System, defining digital tax payment and registration of FIRS 6 e-solutions platforms, covering e-tax payment and registration, e-filing, e-TCC, e-receipts, and e-stamp duties. Right here at the headquarters of taxation in Nigeria. Boldfaces FIRS moment continues after the break.
London, New York or Lagos, business or holiday, home or office, you can now carry out your tax transactions from anywhere in the world. You can now file all your tax returns, pay online, get a receipt, and even process your tax clearance certificate from anywhere in the world online and in real time. All you need to do is log on to www.firs.gov.ng and click on e-services and be introduced to the world of innovation, convenience, and transparency from the FIRS. You can also pay stamp duty as you register a new company with the CAC, or for other transactions that require stamp duty payment online. You can also file your withholding tax returns and determine the withholding tax deducted from you is in government covers so that you can get your receipt within 45 days as long as the deduction has been remitted. Yes, all of this and more online at www.firs.gov.ng/e-services. FIRS, making tax administration as easy as ABC. Please note that all FIRS services are free of charge. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service. It pays to pay your tax.
The 6 e-solutions are as follows: e-registration, e-filing, e-payment, e-TCC, e-receipt, and e-stamp duty. So these are the 6 e-services.
Well, in terms of what informed those innovations, in any business, you have to be up to date. And if you're not up to date, you can't provide efficient or effective service. And now, liken it to the days of going to rent videos. And during, I think in America it was called the Blockbuster video store. And everybody used to go and rent videos. And people used to warn them that, listen, some people can watch these things online, so maybe you should change your approach, but they didn't. And overnight, you had Netflix, and you had other mediums whereby you can hook up to a channel, download the video, pay, watch it, and that's it. You don't have to even leave your house. And before you know it, Blockbuster had gone out of business. As tax administrators, if we don't catch up with technology, there'll be no way we can keep track of our taxpayers, and it'll be, of course, more difficult. But now that a taxpayer who might even feel lazy knows that when he gets home or in his office, he just has to open his laptop or his phone, he sees his tax bill of 1 million naira, punches a few buttons, he gets it paid, turns around, he doesn't have to go anywhere, downloads his receipt. So we have made it more than simple, very transparent, very accountable, and so we're constantly thinking of new ways to make sure that that issue of convenience doesn't come into play, or that issue of transparency or accountability doesn't come into play. Once we have provided those fundamental bases or facts for any taxpayer who wants to be compliant will be compliant.
It has shown in the bottom line, and bottom line for us is collection. Before now, virtually every sector of the economy, they do manual filing and they do manual payment. And typical of taxpayer all over the world, they underpay taxes that are due until you follow up or they see the consequence. But the introduction of some of these technologies is such that we now automatically collect from their transactions. So what that does, it blocks that leakage, that loophole that they take advantage of. We were doing that in the aviation sector, The banking sector has come on board now. The supermarket and branded retailers are also coming on board, which means as they are making their sales, the VAT element is being deducted and swept to our own account automatically. And that has shown in the increase in VAT that we are collecting over the years. Before now, our average monthly collection of VAT was around 60 billion per month. But currently we're doing an average of about 90 billion, and we're sure we're going to cross 100 billion mark very soon. These are part of the benefits of these innovations that we have brought on board in recent time. So it's been helping.
These innovations are not only for the corporate sector, they're also for government. And what we did from FIRS is that we deployed these systems free of charge to all state governments, the offices of the accountant generals, with software, so that when it's time for them to remit withholding tax deducted from contractors or remit the VAT or other taxes that they may have to remit to FIRS, they can do it online. So we have deployed the system both to the corporate society and also to governments, and this was all done free of charge at the expense of FIRS.
Since the e-solutions have been deployed, some taxpayers who are dormant, sleeping for decades, they are now awakened. Another system sending third-party information to one system, and the taxpayers' doings were exposed, and they were brought into TaxNet. So if you look at it, I will tell you that the compliance level has increased.
It is very easy now for everyone to just go to the website and do their business with us. They don't need any third party necessarily. The second thing is it's been able to widen our tax base. It's been able to allow people to be comfortable because they're in control. E-services gives you full control of your affairs in your hands. So in that manner, people are very comfortable. They're not hiding anymore. They're not worried about, oh, I need to find someone that I'll pay, that will charge me to do this. They can do it on their own seamlessly.
Another thing, since we started these e-initiatives, we have never declined on any of our tax collections for any tax type being collected, such as VAT, stamp duty. They've all grown exponentially. With that, the visibility on each of these tax types has also been introduced with this e-solution. So we can even see and forecast and see what month is our best month, what month was our worst month, year on year, how did we grow, what impact did that have to that particular sector, which tax office is performing, which one isn't underperforming. I can tell you now, sitting here, that we have 35 tax offices that factor into 98% of our revenue generation. How do I know that? With the introduction of such technology and e-services that allows us to see, be transparent in ourselves, and see how we can serve the nation better.
In regards to increasing IGR, it makes life a lot easier for our tax officers, our taxmen, because we're able to make intelligent decisions, we're able to meet the taxpayers' needs, we're able to understand, what each industry is doing and how it's doing it, and how we can plug in and ensure that the going concern as an entity is a priority to us. Because the better our taxpayers do, the better taxes we bring in, and the better we serve the nation as a whole.
Have you paid VAT? Yes, VAT, Value Added Tax. VAT is a tax paid on all goods and services and remitted by the seller of the goods or provider of the service to the government. 5% VAT is added to the total cost of goods and services in Nigeria, and when remitted to government, is used for funding development. If you have not, look out for the Federal Inland Revenue Engagement and Enlightenment Tax Team's feet as they visit your area soon. They will educate you and help you register to pay VAT. You can also visit the FIRS office nearest to you to register to pay VAT. The VAT you pay will be used by government to develop our transport infrastructure like roads and railway lines, to continually improve our educational sector by building more schools and upgrading existing ones, and to provide adequate security and a better quality of life for us all. Pay your VAT. Make contribution to the development of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
taxpayers who pay heavily to a consultant to go and get receipt, to go and file return, they no longer do so. Some of them only use a consultant to file annual returns, which happen once. But things like VAT returns that happen monthly, withholding tax that's intermittent, those ones, they use their own staff to file those ones. So the compliance level has increased, and I mean voluntary compliance.
For any country or economy to do well, you actually need the private sector involvement. And that's where the aspect of business comes into play. The business community in most economies provides jobs, provides what are called opportunities for advancement. And unfortunately, Nigeria as a country ranked very, very low when it comes to the issue of the ease of doing business. And one major factor in the ease of doing business has to do with taxes, because most countries rely on taxation to fund their expenditure. And for quite a while, the tax administration system within Nigeria was equally ranked very low. So we introduced some of these innovations newly, and they review each country annually. And we also introduced a few more innovations in terms of tax education for the taxpayers and the public. And we were able to move 11 points. So basically, in ranking Nigeria, in which we moved 24 points, the FIRS was able to contribute to that movement by showing new innovations in terms of the improvement of tax administration within Nigeria.
When we deployed the e-filing, one surprising thing is that a tax controller, a taxpayer just saw on the side that there's e-filing. He now contacted a tax controller, and my phone number was given. Lady come from Texas. Can this thing work? I said, what is that thing? He said, e-filing. I said, do you have credit to talk for long? She said, yes. I said, okay, go in there. Now type www.fr.gov.ng. Click on e-filing. I said, you are there. Are you not there? I said, yes. Okay. Now that you are there, you need to be given access to enter it. Where do you file your tax file before? He said the auditor has taken his money for the past 2 years, no TCC, no receipt, this and that. I said, do it yourself. At the end of the day, we got the tax office to create username and password and send to her. That particular incident of that lady in Texas led to other 25 foreigners follow, and they were filing online.
Gone are the days when you have to come to offices and apply for tax clearance certificates. You need to fill a number of forms. All you need to do, log on to our website, click on e-tax clearance, apply, and download all your payments. By so doing, by the time we have it at the back end, we process and you get your tax clearance in your mail. So there's no particular paper that a tax clearance has to be written on now. So you can print as many times as you want, and you can confirm your tax clearance online as many times as you feel. So presenting your tax clearance to any MDAs or any company that require a tax clearance for that company to do business with your organization, they don't have to write to FIRS to confirm tax clearance certificate. All they need to do is to log on to our website and do tax clearance verification. They could confirm your tax clearance. Same thing for all your payments. They could confirm your payments as well. E-services has come to stay. Technology has come to stay. You don't have to come to our office and start looking for your file and going inside the archive, taking hours, days, looking for your file. They can't locate your file. No, gone are the days. Now you can access us, or you can deal with us online real time.
FIRS has been very conscious of the fact that they want taxpayers to pay taxes freely, voluntarily, and with less stress. So FIRS just felt, how do we make it easy for the taxpayers and for global best practices too, so that they can do things even from the comfort of their homes and offices.
It all started as part of the numerous initiatives and strategies adopted by the current management of FIRS towards increasing tax revenue and also driving our processes in line with global best practices by using and employing information communication technology.
As a result of the various innovations deployed by the Federal Inland Revenue Service and other government agencies, Nigeria moved up 24 places in the Ease of Doing Business Index, World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index. Nigeria was previously 169 and moved up to 145. That's the 169 best places to do business, and that means we are getting better. And also Nigeria was one of the most improved countries because it's not an easy task to move 25 places up. So that was exactly what happened with respect to the ease of doing business. The innovations went a long way.
Sometimes when you sit down looking at the system, midnight you see their returns flowing in, one after the other. Where are they? You don't know. Are we on the same page? So, the entire thing about convenience, entire thing about taxpayer now seeing that everything is transparent, create room for voluntary compliance, and the compliance have increased. The situation we are in Nigeria, collection wouldn't have been possible if all these e-solutions are not there. Now, transactions could be going on, tax office will not know. Today, with e-solutions, we track some of them, and we'll bring them to TaxNet immediately.
London, New York or Lagos, business or holiday, home or office, you can now carry out your tax transactions from anywhere in the world. You can now file all your tax returns, pay online, get a receipt and even process your tax clearance certificate from anywhere in the world online and in real time. All you need to do is log on to www.firs.gov.ng and click on e-services and be introduced to the world of innovation, convenience and transparency from the FIRS. You can also pay stamp duty as you register a new company with the CAC or for other transactions that require stamp duty payment online. You can also file your withholding tax returns and determine the withholding tax deducted from you is in government coffers so that you can get your receipt within 45 days as long as the deduction has been remitted. Yes, all of this and more online at www.firs.gov.ng/e-services. FIRS, making tax administration as easy as ABC. Please note that all FIRS services are free of charge. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service. It pays to pay your tax.
First of all, tax evasion is criminal. Tax avoidance basically means you have what consultants would like to call effective tax planning, meaning that you haven't done anything illegal, but at the same time, you've been able to save the taxpayer some amount of money from paying tax. There's another word that has recently been introduced into the tax arena, and that's the morality of tax payments. Sometimes what you do may not be illegal, but it may equally not be fair to the system. So in a nutshell, tax evasion is criminal, it's against the law. Tax avoidance means you follow the law, and in certain cases, if the law has a loophole and allows you to pay less tax than what is expected, you haven't done anything wrong.
So why avoidance is legal, which usually is taken advantage by those who are knowledgeable, those who are skillful in tax, and then who can arrange their affairs to take such maximum advantage of it, that is legal. But when you go outside of the tax law to avoid payment of taxes, that is evasion, and that is illegal, and that is punishable under the law.
FIRS Tax Calculator is an application that is on FIRS website, which enables taxpayers or tax consultants to calculate the taxes due by entering the relevant information on the electronic tax calculator. So you can use it to calculate the company income tax, the personal income tax, petroleum profit tax. So all the rules, all the business rules as a result of the relevant laws, tax codified. So this is just the automation of those laws and the rules. So the tax calculator is intelligent enough to know what taxes you are supposed to pay and what not to pay.
We have various taxes in Nigeria, and then they also have the time you are supposed to make those payments. Basically, the company income tax allows that for a company that is newly registered, making up its account for the first time, the law allows such company a maximum of 18 months within which they are to file their first returns. So, that is what we call commencement. When a company commences business, it has maximum of 18 months within which to make up the first account and file a return. If the company chooses, they can do it after 12 months, but maximum is 18 months. So that will be the due date for commencement of a company. For other company that has been in business, if your year end, you have 6 months after your year end to file your return. Most companies in Nigeria, either by law or by choice, have their year end as 31st of December. And that is why June is our biggest month of the year when we get a lot of revenue in, because that will be 6 months after the end of the year. And that is when the law says is the due date for them to file their returns. So that's the due date. For companies in upstream sector, do pay PPT, they file their estimates by law also by February of every year. So those are the due dates. Then when you deduct VAT and withholding taxes, depending on the explanation I gave earlier on, the law also says that you must file your return 21 days subsequent to the month of the transaction.
When you have a country where the level of tax compliance is very low and you are encouraging people and organizations to do the right things, sometimes where individuals and also corporate organizations have a hefty bill of unpaid taxes, it might not be practical to expect them to pay these taxes all at once. So we've introduced a system whereby once certain taxes have been identified and we look at your liquidity potential, then we'll space out the payment of taxes. And I think all over the world now they do have similar programs whereby if intentionally or unintentionally you find yourself with a tax bill, they'll let you try and space out the payment terms.
The law allows that, subject to the approval of the board. And so when a taxpayer has filed his returns and feels that he wants to pay instrumentally, then such taxpayer has an obligation to apply to the relevant tax authority, stating why he cannot make the full payment and asking for an instrumental payment. And that can be approved by the board of the relevant authority, also subject to the provision of the law. Even the board itself has a guideline on what it can approve and what it cannot approve. But so the answer is yes, it can pay instrumentally, but it has to apply for it, and then the relevant tax authority must approve that before it can commence instrumental payment.
There's some commercial centers all over Nigeria. In the southwest, you could say Lagos, and of recent Ogun has been calling itself a commercial center. In the north, you could say Kano. And you'll find out that a lot of the corporate businesses are located within those regions or around those cities. So when it comes to corporate tax, certain areas where you have a lot of civil servants and you have individuals who are maybe involved in agriculture and they're not taxpayers in quotes to FIRS, may not have bothered or may not fully understand the new innovations that we have introduced. But where it concerns the corporate Nigeria, in Kano, Kaduna, Lagos, Ogun State, Port Harcourt, they're more inclined to be more interested to have more knowledge about these solutions. But what we've also done is that we have created a new directorate called FIRS, which is the Federal Engagement and Enlightenment Tax Teams. And they go across the whole country, in every state, trying to educate taxpayers of current and new innovations that we have put in place. So certainly, even if they don't use it, they'll certainly come abreast and informed of the new innovations shortly. E-solution is designed to make life easier, both for the tax administrator and the taxpayer. Well, one thing about tax administration is that you have to try and be current or ahead of the game. So as new innovations may arise, we'll certainly try and follow up on those innovations and make them available to all taxpayers within Nigeria. Yes, we have offices. We are there to attend to you physically. Some people love to sit before us and talk to us, which there's nothing bad about that. We are there to serve the masses and the people. But then if you're short of time and you can't still perform the same obligations without having to visit our offices. So we're trying to make payment of taxes very easy. We try very hard to lessen the burden of tax compliance by allowing them to do what they need to do in the comfort of their own environment. There are certain expectations that everyone has from his or her government. There are certain countries, and you go to, and Nigerians will say the way their government looks after them, even outside the country, is remarkable. But you see, all those things cost money. And internally, same Nigerians, because we travel quite a bit, we'll talk about the services provided by the various governments, even within those foreign countries. All those things cost money. And because their nationals or their citizens pay taxes, their governments are able to provide all those services. And we have to realize that the only way that we can have that same high standard of living or same conducive environment is that we have to empower governments, and empower governments by paying taxes so that the government has revenue. I often say that you may have the best leader, you may have a leader with a vision, but a vision that cannot be financed with revenue remains a dream. So I just ask all Nigerians, both individuals and corporates, that let's make Nigeria great again by paying our taxes.
Welcome back. Hope we have updated your knowledge on the use of the FIRS online payment portals and, of course, its improved taxpayers' accessibility. The process of paying your tax has become less cumbersome via the FIRS e-solutions. It's as easy as the capital ABC. Special thanks to the Executive Chairman of FIRS, Mr. Tunde Fowler, and his management team for educating us about the FIRS e-filing and payment of taxes. Thanks for watching. I'll be here again next week to bring more FIRS moments to you right here on Boldfaces. My name is Tricia Eseigbe Kerry. See you next week.